I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you're listening to Hard NOC Life.
Well, it's the NOC in full color. You see me? The Hard NOC Life. Comics, movies, and TV. Yeah.
Welcome to Hard NOC Life. I'm Keith Chow.
I'm Britney Monet.
I'm Dominic Ma. Hi.
So much happened this week. I don't know where to start. We have the Super Bowl ads. We have Netflix kicking off all their Marvel stuff. We have the Boba Fett finale. We got the Oscar nominations. We got trailers up the ass. We got everything. Ivan Reitman just passed away.
Oh, Ivan Reitman.
Yeah. So many things to
Rest
talk
his soul.
about. R.I.P. Mr. Ghostbuster himself.
Yeah, because we talk about it a lot, but he did an outstanding job on that Ghostbusters movie. He got all these different threads working together.
And not just that. I mean, when you think of Ivan Reitman's career, right? You got, Stripes. I mean, him and Bill Murray as a team. It's, Reitman and of course his son Jason. It was bittersweet to hear that Ivan passed, especially, with the press tour for the most recent Ghostbusters movie. No indication that Ivan was at the end of his life. So R.I.P. Mr. Reitman. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about as far as like the nerd shit that we cover here on Hard NOC Life. Where should we start? Let's say this. We'll save some of those Super Bowl commercials for the back half. So let's start with the thing we always start. We're never going to talk about the show again since it ended this week. Let's start with Boba Fett. How do we feel about the finale of Boba Fett, aka The Mandalorian season 2.5?
I liked it. I think it went back to where it needed to be, focusing more on Boba than Luke. Even though I thought the stuff with Luke was really cool, it just felt like it was a different show when he showed up. Yeah, I liked it, and I think it's very interesting how now people are turning against Robert Rodriguez and saying he should never direct Star Wars, all mainly because of that one guy doing that like cool turn. And I'm just like, but he does really cool like stylized like fights like in almost everything he does. So I'm just like, I don't know, and other people do stuff too. So I'm just like, why is it a problem when like I don't know. I feel like
the twist. I missed something. Why do you tell why?
No, everyone hates Robert Rodriguez
but that's not true. But that's the point of that we're talking
right
about. Okay.
I mean, for what it's worth, I feel like the Rodriguez directed episodes are the weakest of the season. For what it's worth, right? Like the episode 2 was not Robert Rodriguez, and then whichever the ones with the Mandalorian, that was Bryce Dallas Howard, and the second Mandalorian episode was Kevin Tancharoen. So I feel like, no shade to Robert Rodriguez, his episodes were the least, for me, enjoyable ones. But my issue with Boba Fett all along has been like just the weird structure of the show. It was just like, I couldn't wrap my head around how weirdly
John Favreau wrote every episode. Yeah. So I mean, if then it goes to, is it the writer's fault on this more than who's directing each episode?
And I think the haters like were expecting El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez, and forgot like he spent the last 20 years of his career directing like Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like, and that's no shade. Like his like bread and butter has been like kids action movies and not like the violent, gory shit he used to do with like Quentin Tarantino. You know what I'm saying? Like I think people were expecting a Boba Fett that was more ruthless.
What's that? What's the one he did with Grindhouse? Didn't he do that in between like Spy Kids?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like you weren't going to get Grindhouse Robert Rodriguez for Star Wars. Like, sorry, sorry, fanboys, but you were going to get Spy Kids Robert Rodriguez and not Grindhouse Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, but all that said, this episode has the most of the tradition of just escalating chaotic violence, which I think was interesting. It was just largely a big battle scene, can we say? And they kept ramping up the things that were happening. Oh, look, now there's spaceships involved. Oh, look, now there's a Rancor involved. And I don't know, my feeling is that this Boba Fett series has been setting up a really cool Boba Fett video game that they want to make sometime in the future with all the different threats and the different gadgets he's going to use. And yeah, to me, that's what it looked like. A big, hard boss battle.
I mean, maybe that's because your video gaming is your background. My background is action figures. And to me, watching it was like seeing Jon Favreau and Robert Rodriguez dump out their Star Wars action figures and then smash them together. Like,
Yeah.
and the best way possible is what I'm saying. Like, because, you know, I can imagine 12-year-old me going, what if Boba Fett came riding a Rancor?
Yeah.
And to see it realize is like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Absolutely true. And they, you know, unleashed all sorts of action figures to make now. All those cool costumes. They're popular, all the different factions. Those like weird Power Ranger looking dudes. All gonna
The
be
mods.
action figures for your
mods, yeah.
consumption.
Yeah, everyone hating on the mods, they're gonna buy the action figures and their little speeder bikes when it
They
comes out.
probably will, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I do think that as much as I love Jon Favreau, I think he needs a writer's room and a diverse writer's room. I know there's some people who are like diversity, but I do think that
Not the
will-
people listening to this podcast, Brittany. You're
not
cool.
the po-
You're
I
straight
know.
here.
But just in case this, you know, just in case this goes out of our realm of
Sequestered.
people, yeah. I don't know. I think he just needs more people in the writers' room because I think as a whole, Jon Favreau has really good ideas, but I do think he needs other people who maybe who are good writers who can write well for Star Wars, even if they're not huge Star Wars fans, you know what I mean? So that they can like, you know, what is best to move the story along than like, what is a cool fan moment, you know? And I feel like
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
problem.
concentrates on the fans. I feel like the best written episode was still the Tuscan one. As far as just
yeah.
like that story, I still think the structure is weird, where it's like half doing this thing and half doing that thing. But then, like after seeing the whole series on, you know, in total, it was
Yeah,
all
it
built
was-
like that. It was
I
all
think
kind of
he was the
disjointed,
best.
and
Yeah.
that was weird. I will say that the Dave Filoni episode, I think that's the only one that he co-wrote, right? The Dave Filoni, I feel like Dave Filoni wrote the episode he directed too with Favreau.
I think they co-wrote it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I think Favreau's got a great sense of Star Wars. I mean, I think he's much better than like Chris Terrio, who wrote the Rise of Skywalker, right? Like, at least it still felt like Star Wars. I agree with you that perhaps Favreau stretched himself too thin because he was probably writing Mandalorian at the same time,
Yeah.
you know? And
Mhm.
so, I mean, all that said, the fact that he wrote the scene in which little baby Yoda jumps into Din's arms when he sees him, that was
Yes.
I listeners, I cried when
It
little
was
baby
good,
Yoda
it was
hopped in
good.
his arms.
Baby Yoda still's got it.
Yeah, exactly. Grogu, you're the man. And then when little Grogu calmed the Rancor, like
Mhm.
already my heart grew 10 sizes, and then he like laid down and curled up next to
It
the
was
Rancor,
so
and my heart
cute.
exploded. So on this Valentine's Day, that was the
Hmm.
explosion of my heart, was seeing little baby Yoda, little Grogu
So cute.
curl up next to the Rancor he calmed with the Force. And give me 20 episodes of that, and I'll be a happy customer.
I also very much like, I mean, I know you guys have maybe differing opinions about Tamara Morrison himself, but I feel like they were going for the illusion of the Godfather thing where he's like sort of older, wizened, and beefier, like Marlon Brando was in The Godfather, and has to, you know, assemble all these different crime factions. And to me, he achieved that gravitas towards the end. It might not have been flashy and sleek with like tech stuff like some Star Wars stuff is, but I don't know, he had a certain you know,
Je ne sais quoi.
well, just a weary, world weary presence that I thought was interesting to watch. And then it was nice how he hooks up with the Mandalorian at the end. Not literally hooks up, you know, like they assemble to fight together, and they
So
yeah.
that was a cool pairing, especially with Din, you know, like his loyalty and
yeah,
like I promised I would stick it. You know, it reminded me of
Yeah. debating the way.
it reminded me of Steve and Bucky, right? Like I'm with
Yeah.
you to the end, buddy. You know,
Mhm.
that was kind of nice too.
And to go with, you know, their Westerns metaphor, they got very close to doing the last scene of Butch Cassidy as Sundance Kid, which, you know, it's this iconic scene in Westerns that everyone refers to. Might be the ultimate, you know, tragic Western scene, which was also, you know, which is the second time we got to hear about Butch Cassidy this week because it also showed up in the Peacemaker show. So people are still thinking about them when they're still striving to get that moment of
the freeze frame is what
grace. Yes, their final tragic end.
Well, it's not tragic because the frame freezes and they survive it. We don't know what happens to them. Perhaps they survive after the freeze frame.
Right, says that dork vigilante.
I want to jump into the Peacemaker penultimate episode. Also, you guys were setting me up. I was thinking this was the finale, and Peacemaker's like, nope, we got one more episode.
So did I, because I was told it was the finale. That's why I said that. So I'm sorry, guys. I was
counting numbers is hard. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all good.
I was
miss a
told
couple
last
sometimes.
week's episode was the finale as well. So
and a lot happened. Well, let's just jump into Peacemaker though, because a lot happened. I mean, they killed off Myrn, they killed off White Dragon, right? They killed off. Is that it? Is that the whole thing? Those are the two main characters they killed off.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a big deal to kill off like two of the main characters of the show. Now they're all
because he kills his dad. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all gathering to kill the cow now, and we get to see the cow, which is this gross giant
very Starship Troopers looking guy. You're totally right. Back of that, but yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies, so I will reference that movie a lot throughout this time here.
So yeah, Peacemaker was great. The Boba Fett show was great. The other thing that happened this week, speaking of Starship Troopers, this is not speaking of Starship Troopers, but an epic sci-fi movie walked away with a shitload of Oscar nominations.
Yes.
When you were anticipating Dune, and I'm gonna ask Dominic this because you've been anticipating. I remember you were on this podcast like 3 years ago talking about Dune. And here we're sitting Dune with I think 12 Oscar or 10 Oscar nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand why the nerd community is not making a bigger deal out of this, because like everyone's pissed off Spider-Man didn't get a nomination. I'm like, are you serious? Like, no world would as great as Spider-Man No Way Home was, no one came out of that movie going, now that's Oscar bait. Right. But like all the noise I've been reading the last week is why didn't Spider-Man get a nomination? But like Dune sitting here with like all the
Spider-Man is not going to get a nomination. Dune is, because Dune looks beautiful and has a cast of like the most, famous, classy people in the world.
Although none of the actors got nominated.
But I do think like Dune works, but I think there's like I don't think nerds are like super excited about it. We understand there's some kind of I don't even know how to say it. It's like it didn't light anyone's world on fire. It didn't.
I bought the DVD.
It did not light my world on fire.
Britney loved Dune.
Yes, I did. Like I said, I bought it on a Blu-ray DVD set.
Even though you can watch it on HBO.
Yeah, I mean, if I really like something, I will buy the physical
Same. I already have Eternals on 4K Steelbook.
I haven't bought that one yet. There's like a few MCU movies I haven't bought yet, but I just don't have room for a whole set because I also don't have room for all my books, as you guys have seen my book setup. So no, I really liked it. I wasn't surprised at all. The movie that I'm really mad that didn't get nominated is Tick Tick Boom. Although
Andrew got his, we did predict Andrew Garfield would get a nomination.
He got a well-deserved acting nom, but
there's your Spider-Man, motherfuckers.
Yeah, but between the two musical movies that came out this year, I'm sorry, but Tick Tick Boom was superior to West Side Story. That is just the hard truth.
Right on.
People need to accept that. Like, I will fight people over this opinion.
Well, Tick Tick Boom, I mean, it only got Best Actor. I think it got Best Editing.
Yes, because there's one scene with him and Vanessa Hudgens that's just edited so well.
The therapy.
Yeah.
And then Lynn got nominated for Encanto, but not for We Don't Talk About Bruno. He got it for Dos Oregatos, which is interesting because everyone assumed Bruno would be the song. But what they didn't realize is that when Disney submitted the songs for nomination, they didn't submit Bruno because no one thought Bruno was going to be this like massive pop culture hit.
Yeah,
they submitted like typical kind of like, and it's a beautiful song, and it's narratively relevant. It's kind of like the most emotional song in the movie because it's when Mirabel and Abuela kind of reconcile. But it's not the I mean, what's wild to think about is that, you and I are huge Lynn stans, and we've been Lynn fans for years now. But even that Lin stan community is very small in the grand scheme of things, right? It's a niche community.
Yes, it is.
This is the biggest shit that's ever happened to Lin. That's crazy. As much as we love Hamilton, Hamilton never reached the heights of Encanto. The Hamilton soundtrack was never number one on the Billboard charts.
No, it was not. And I understand why there's some people who are still like about Lin-Manuel Miranda or Hamilton. I understand. I'm not here to like fight anyone's opinions on that. But I mean, I feel like Encanto just it's easier to resonate with everyone, I think, because it's literally a story about what, you know, generational trauma can do to the family and how it kind of breaks the family and how you kind of have to be the one to break the, you know, generational curses in your family. And that's really what it's about. And I think so many people relate to it. And then you have, and then Don't Talk About Bruno is just such a catchy song that it's crazy that he said that's like the hardest song he's ever written. And yet there you go.
I mean, again, think about if you're a huge Lin fan and you've listened to In the Heights and you listen to Hamilton and Moana, like it's wild to think about like this. And I'm not throwing shade at Encanto, right? Like it's a great movie, it's a great soundtrack, but like the number of ears that have listened to We Don't Talk About Bruno just dwarfs all of his entire musical catalog. It's why it just, I can't come. I was driving down the street the other day and a lady pulled up next to me at the stoplight. No kids in the car. She was probably like someone in her like 20s or 30s with We Don't Talk About Bruno, like blasting from the speakers, right?
That would
like,
be me.
Yeah, I think it was Britney. I was somehow in California this weekend. And it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's just, to me, blows my mind. Like, how did this song become so, you know, ethered into the zeitgeist?
I don't know. It's so good. And I just really like when it switches to when Dolores is doing that one part.
That's the thing that and the Camilo.
That part,
the 7-foot frame rats on like that. Those two parts is what made
those two parts. I think is what makes the song.
It's the TikTok. It's TikTok's fault.
Yeah,
because those are the two TikTokable. Parts of the song.
Whole song is good.
So congrats, Lin's getting his EGOT finally.
Probably.
Well, if he don't win, that'll be the scandal of the century. Because he should have won for Moana. Let's be real. 6 years ago, he should have already had his EGOT.
Yeah.
Like La La Land. I mean, fine. La La Land's fine. I don't hate it like everybody else does, but
it's okay.
But you know how far I'll go. Way better than City of Stars. Sorry.
Yes, that I will agree with. But yeah, I am excited for Dune, like I said. And yeah, I don't know. I gotta see the rest of the movies.
I only really care about that Andrew Garfield nomination of being the potential to miss the Oscar stuff. Sorry, I get back to it, so not a good segue. But I did like back to the Garfield thing. It's like it is a really nice reward to get that nomination after he spent most of the year not even being able to talk about the movie that he was in. Well, I mean, in terms of not even to talk about the movie that he was actively promoting, but spent the entire year just having to deny whether or not he was in the Spider-Man movie or not. When he's doing press for any other movies in, including Tick Tick Boom, he's just not talking. He doesn't get to talk about Tick Tick Boom. He just has to freaking do more stuff.
He deserves the Oscar just for that.
About how he's not in the Spider-Man
Absolutely.
movie. So finally get some recognition. Yeah, you were in this other movie. I think that's important.
I kind of feel like Andrew's nomination for Tick Tick Boom is a combination. I haven't seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, but I will say like just his two performances from
I forgot that was him as Jim Baker. That's wild. Like, you may be too young to remember Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. I am not.
I remember Tammy Faye because she was on what was that show that CW used to do? It was kind of like Big Brother, but for like celebrities.
She did what like a reality show.
Yeah, and I remember her from that because I think is it Vanilla Ice?
Oh my god, Tammy Faye Baker and Vanilla Ice were in the same reality show. They were on
the same season, and I can't remember the name of the show. I know unless I'm like fever dreaming this.
Well, no, I think you're right, but
that
listeners,
sounds like something that totally happened.
Listeners, drop a comment and let us know what the reality show with Vanilla Ice and Tammy Faye Baker. But going back to Andrew Garfield, like I also have not seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, but I've seen the trailers and I forgot Andrew Garfield was in it. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw him, I was like, holy shit. I remember not Pat Robertson. They're from the same milieu, I guess, but Jim Baker, you know, that whole like 700 Club era of Christian broadcasting, you know, and to know that that's Andrew Garfield, that's fucking Spider-Man. That's Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's getting like a dual nomination, which is
I
better
think
because
so.
if he
For
was
all
nominated twice.
three, because everyone who's seen all three has said he kills every single
Oh,
performance.
Spider, you're right, true. Yeah,
So
he was Spider-Man
everyone
too.
said that's probably why he just got it for Tick Tick Boom, because that's his like
I mean, that's the masterpiece.
that's the yes, but I feel like I think because he did so well as the other two roles and this year, that is just like you
It's
gotta
his year.
nominate for
It's I mean,
something.
you know how there's always like the narrative going into the Oscars, and I feel like the narrative, at least in Best Actor, is Andrew Garfield. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not. I haven't really been paying too much attention.
All that said, I don't think he's going to win over Denzel as Macbeth because the Shakespeare Mafia is strong and Denzel is Denzel.
Denzel might win as long as no one
Sharing
from
with
Power
those
of the
things.
Dog wins, because that movie fucking sucked. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Well, but Power of the Dog is the favorite for Best Picture. I don't know that it's going to win Best Actor. Benedict's nominated though, right?
Yeah, but that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making.
Yeah, we ain't got the
like
Power of the Dog.
just
I mean,
don't-
it's we're not going to talk about Power of the Dog. We only care about the nerd ones and
It's not about crypto?
musical nerds
I
and
mean,
sci-fi nerds.
I like.
And I don't mean
all types
cryptocurrency.
of
It's not about
movies.
crypto the superdog.
Oh my gosh.
Then I don't even care.
No, that's
I
coming
like
out
all-
later this year. The Crypto
Okay,
the
fine.
Superdog movie is coming
Oh
out
my
later this year.
gosh.
Oh, that's the other thing that happened this week. We got our
What
first
other-
glimpse at a bunch of DC movies.
Oh yes, the little
Hell
short
yeah.
sizzle reel that they read.
That was unexpected and awesome.
Can we talk about how cool Aldous Hodge looked when they showed the shot of his like wings expanding? I was like, yes.
That's the coolest Hawkman's ever
Yeah,
looked.
yes.
We've seen Hawkman on Smallville. We've seen Hawkman on Legends of Tomorrow, and he's looked like shit both times.
That was a cool
on
Hawkman.
Naomi, by the way, is very cool. He is if you're watching Naomi, that is like Naomi's mentor person, and he is a Thanagarian, and he has wings.
Right, he's got the
He looks
wings.
Super cool.
Ah.
So he looks cool too.
Aldous Hodge looked cool. Pierce Brosnan as fucking Dr. Fate looked amazing. He's got the cool voice.
Hob Van.
It jumped definitely to the top of my most anticipated movie list. Well, maybe not the top. I'm still super excited about The Flash just for the Michael Keaton of it all. And that's the other thing that Jesus Christ, this needs to be like a 5-hour podcast. We saw spy shots of Michael Keaton in costume on the Batgirl set. That movie's like tripping me out. I don't know what the fuck to make of the Batgirl.
I don't know. I'm very excited for honestly from both sides of like the Marvel and DC of what's coming out, because Black Adam looks awesome. I can't wait. Anything with Michael Keaton, I'm most likely gonna go watch it at some point in my life. And then like I don't know, like I'm so excited for Shazam because that ended up being like my favorite. That's my favorite DC movie. So I am just very excited for that. And then obviously all the Marvel stuff that like is coming out. So I don't know. I feel like it's a good year.
It's a good year for nerds, man. It's a good year for
especially if
nerds.
you like both. Like it's a really great time.
Yeah, I got no patience for haters. Like if you want to spend all of your waking hours hating on the thing that's not the thing you like, I feel bad for you because I just like everything, you know?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. We all know I don't like Zack Snyder, but aside from that, I really do like stuff from both sides of the.
But you know,
comic world.
even Zack Snyder had some cool news this week where the movie he pitched to be a Star Wars movie got greenlit to be its own original product for Netflix. What was the name of it?
Is it the Adam Project?
It had a
No, that's the
interesting
Ryan
cast.
Reynolds movie.
That looks good, by the way.
Oh, I think.
Yeah,
they
Netflix
did
had a
odds
cool
in it.
Super Bowl teaser too for all the Netflix
Yeah.
programming.
Wait, so about that
Rebel Moon is the
Yeah.
sci-fi movie.
sounds a little Star Warsy.
Well, he
but
pitched it as a
okay.
Star Wars movie. It was supposed to be. So
Right on.
Zack Snyder had pitched this idea for a Star Wars movie before the Lucasfilm buyout or the Disney buyout of Lucasfilm, and it was this. So he kind of like refashioned it after. Again, I guess they turned it down. So that gives me a little bit of pause. Disney was like, "Nah, we're not interested," but he refashioned the pitch to be like an original sci-fi product. And here's the cast. It's Charlie Hunnam, Jaimin Hansu, Duna Bay, Ray Fisher, Sophia Boutella, Jenna Malone, Staz Nair, E. Duffy, Charlotte Maggie, and Sky Yang. So
Yeah,
sounds
really
like a
cool
dope cast.
Yeah.
And say
I
what
like
you will about
David
Zack
a
Snyder.
lot.
I'm like Zack Snyder outside of the DC EU, I think is fine. He can do whatever he
Whoa,
wants.
you're not even,
Look, Sucker
not even
Punch
talking about
is my
Sucker
favorite.
Punch.
They're so
Oh,
good. I love
well, I
Sucker
didn't- I never-
Punch.
I have deep.
No,
I do not love
Oscar
Sucker Punch.
Isaac and eyeliner, amazing. that alone makes that his best movie. I'm sorry, but I do
Alright.
like the Army of the Dead. That movie.
Army of the
is
Dead's
great.
good.
compelling
Army of the
argument.
Dead was good. Speaking of Oscar Isaac, we can get to the Oscar Isaac
Oh,
of
yeah.
it all before because I want to spend most of the time after the break on the other trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
But the Oscar Isaac trailer that dropped, the Moon Knight trailer, we got to see the moon dagger, what is it?
Crescent darts. They're called
Darts.
crescent darts.
The moon stars.
I realize that sounds like a breakfast pastry, but that's what they're called.
But we got to see Moon Knight's little crescent cape too. That was dope.
He looks so cool. I love his
Yeah.
mummy couture.
Yeah, he's mummy-ish.
What did you guys think of? We got some more footage, some more story beats. We got to see Ethan Hawke be weird.
Many people are still asking me who Moon Knight is. So I'm
Yeah,
trying
who
to
is
get
Moon
my
Knight?
best
I
guess.
forgot. I completely forgot since the
Batman,
last
but
time.
People
Egyptian.
Yeah, he's Batman, but kind of Egyptian. Kind of Egyptian. I don't know how far they're going to go.
Culturally
with that.
appropriated Egyptian, it sounds like.
Just the one.
Well, I mean, he's just
the
powered
one
by
shot
gods.
for a second. I was like, wait, is Batman crossing over of his cape? The way this cape looked. It
No,
looked
but
like a
Batman's cape
Batman
looks like a
cape
bat.
shot.
His cape makes him look like a moon, so that's the biggest difference.
I don't know. For a second, it
Moon
looked like
darts
a
versus
Batman.
bat darts. Moonerangs. I think I said they're called moonerangs.
They're not
Dom
none
is
of
gonna
those
kill
are
you.
right. They're called crescent darts. I don't think they've said the word batarang in a movie in 20 years either. So I don't think that maybe they
You
will
know
in this
who
next
can
one.
say it and deliver
Uh,
it so seriously and people accept it? Robert Pattinson.
Oh, Robert Pattinson. Yeah. Yeah. I can see him say batarang. Or I guess he
But-
would say it. He would say "Batarang!" because I feel like we're not going to understand Robert Pattinson when he's Batman. Remember that there was that line like, like they had to redub it. I saw another TV spot. Apparently he says, "What have you done?" But like when the
I
trailer
thought he was
first
saying
dropped, we were all
something
like, "Where's the gun?
Oh,
Where's the
I
fun?
thought-
What is he
I
saying?"
thought he was saying, "Where's the gun?"
No, apparently because they redubbed it. It's kind of like the Bane thing, where they went back and redubbed
Right.
the voice, and they
So-
redubbed the
So
trailer for him to say, "What have you done?"
Batman's become Bane
He is vengeance.
in this voice inflections. But wait, wow, now we're talking about so many things.
It's too many things to
think-
talk about.
I
I
know.
think they're really going to lean into the the psychological conflict aspect of Moon Knight. I think that's their main thread. There is the Egyptian mythology thread and the Batman gadgetry thread, but I think they want to make it a weird story about a divergent personality, and that's what makes me interested in light of this other thing, which is the Netflix Marvel shows leaving Netflix.
Yeah,
Because I'm still of the opinion that Marvel hasn't done a story about a really haunted mind in the Disney space. I don't think that's something.
This is going to be
Disney's done
TV 14,
really
by the
well.
way. I don't know if you guys have heard. That.
aren't all of them? Aren't all of the Marvel shows TV-14?
If they are, I didn't know that, but I know that everyone's like freaking out that Moon Knight is TV-14 and in like a good way.
Oh, and
So-
I was going to say in a good way. Well, I was about to say Kevin Feige, I think, was quoted this week as saying it will be brutal. Like they're not going to hold back on the brutality of Moon Knight, which is odd for a Disney Plus show. But to Dominic's point about the Netflix stuff, now they're homeless after the end of the month.
I've heard it's going to Hulu.
Yeah, right. People are speculating where would they end up, but Hulu seems to be the only place they could end up at least until Disney Star comes to America. Hulu is the place where the non-family friendly stuff lives, and
Mhm.
for all intents and
Okay.
purposes, the Netflix Marvel stuff is not family friendly.
Yeah, it's not. It's not in the way the Disney stuff is. And okay, well then that would be fine. That you can still see like Cloak and Dagger and the Freeform stuff. Is that
Yeah,
still
that's
over on
still
Hulu?
that's still on
Yeah, right
Disney
on.
Plus and Hulu.
That's on, yeah.
I think
And
at least some of them.
Agents
Some of
Shield-
them are on. Some
Agents
of them are on.
Shield
both.
is also leaving Netflix.
That's
But
coming. Yeah,
Agents
that's
of
coming.
Shield is already on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be leaving like Netflix officially. as
I think
well,
Netflix
with those other
is
shows.
officially cutting ties with all of its Marvel properties, and I
Yeah.
mean eventually they're going to cut ties with their CW properties too. Because right now, all the new CW stuff like Superman and
HBO
Lois,
Max.
Naomi, Batwoman, that's all already on HBO Max. It's the legacy stuff like Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow that's still on Netflix.
Mhm.
But they're going to lose once that contract's over. All the CW stuff's
Yeah.
going to go to
Oh,
HBO
Black
Max, which
Lightning
makes
is
sense.
also on Netflix because they
Right,
I
right.
think the first season came out when they still had the deal.
Yeah.
So all of Black Lightning right now is still on Netflix.
But eventually there are, and it goes back to what I've always said, right, Dom, is that like all of these studios have siphoned off their own little streaming platforms. It only makes sense. And like it's at the point now where it's weird to see Harry Potter on Peacock.
Yeah, my little brother just got Peacock, which I'm actually gonna watch that Jennifer Lopez movie on there, by the way.
Well, you love you some
but-
Owen Wilson.
Yes, I know. Morbius. I mean Mobius.
Or Morbius. Maybe he's Morbius too.
As
He's
long
a
as I can
Morbius
still see those shows somewhere, that eases my mind a little, because Daredevil,
Yeah,
Jessica
I
Jones,
didn't
Luke Cage, they're a
finish-
very important part
I'm
of the
trying to
whole
now
thing.
finish all the shows
Really
that
important.
I didn't finish those real quick. So I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it because like I close almost every single day this week, and then except for tomorrow and Wednesday. But Wednesday I'm going to a concert, so
Well, they leave at the end of February, right? That's
March
when.
1st.
Oh, yeah, end of February.
So, like, 2 weeks
Jessica
to-
Jones season 2 is still skippable if it wants to be
I've
comprehensive.
seen-
but one
I've
and
seen-
three
and
are
and,
essential.
and the entirety of Iron Fist is skippable, except the last
entirety of Iron
5
Fist is
seconds of the
skippable.
last episode.
And
So
Punisher is
every-
like according to your taste. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, if you're into that kind of thing.
So I
It's good.
finished, as we know, I finished Daredevil finally because of like the push from doing it because of Hawkeye. And so everything else I just need to watch their last season as well. So I'm, seeing
You got
most
time.
of
You got 2
Jessica
weeks.
Jones.
You can do it in 2 weeks. I
think
believe in you.
so.
You don't have any Boba Fett to watch, and after this week, you're not gonna be Peacemaker to watch. So
I know. I really like Peacemaker, and I can't. And I love Vigilante so much. He's such a dumb.
Vigilante's great. Every time you think he's gonna die, and he
He just
doesn't die,
doesn't.
I get happy because I don't want him to die.
I don't
Oh,
even.
speaking of not wanting to, just real before we go to break, I want to circle all the way back to Boba Fett. Like, what the fuck is up with the Pikes blasters? Because like they can't kill nobody. Chrysanthemum was taking shot after shot after shot.
I really thought he was dead.
I did too. And
Same.
when did Beskar become like the most indestructible material ever? Because like Boba and Mando are just taking hits and are like absolutely fine. Like,
Because they can't kill those two. Those two are their bread and butter right now.
well, I guess there was no
Butter
Beskar
Fett.
on Django's neck, because I was going to say like Django should have put some Beskar on his neck then.
Every time they do that, I love it when they show blasters deflecting off the Beskar, because like there has to be a reason they're wearing all that bulky shit. Like I always wonder, like, is this really how you go around on a desert planet with this, like, huge amounts of metal and crap on you? But if
And
it
the
actually
sad thing is
deflects
that-
almost any attack, that's that justifies it.
And they say Beskar can withstand lightsabers, right? Like that's why
To
the
an
spear
extent.
they use the spear against Ahsoka, right? So and
Mhm.
even against the dark saber. So like that Beskar is like, you can put that up there with like vibranium and adamantium, man. It's like one of the most powerful
Mhm.
materials ever created in made up stories. Speaking of made up stories, let's stop beating around the bush. I want to talk about the multiverse of madness, but before we do, let's take a break and come back on the other side. This is not the first multiverse of madness trailer we've seen, but holy shit, I don't think even I was expecting the
What
stuff
we
that they
got.
dropped in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
trailer. So let's take a break and come back and talk about Doctor Strange. Hard NOC Life is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. They are the makers of the first ever ACV apple cider vinegar gummies. They also have the ashwagandha gummies, the superfruit gummies, and the super veggie gummies, and the chocolate bites. You know what? It's Valentine's Day. So let's talk about the ashwagandha gummies, because the ashwagandha gummies, they come with the ashwagandha KSM 66 ingredient that's known to help with sexual function, that's known to help with quality of life, quality of sleep, and control stress-related food cravings, support memory and concentration. Brittany, what has
Mhm.
your experience with these ashwagandha gummies been?
So since I've at least been taking them, I can't guarantee this will help a whole bunch of other people, but for me, I feel like I sleep a lot better because I know they do help promote better sleeping habits. And I used to wake up every couple hours when I would go to sleep. So now I've actually been sleeping all the way through, even if it's just for 5 hours or whatever, because I have to get up earlier. I actually sleep the whole time through, and it's really nice. I feel more well
Refreshed.
rested. Yeah. So I definitely would say at least add them to your routine, see if they make a difference. They also have vitamin D. If you need, sunshine in your life and you're not wanting to sit out in the sun. So yeah, I don't know. I really like, and I take all of the gummies they have. So I don't know if it's a combination of all of them.
Do you have a
But-
favorite?
In terms of taste, I think, is it the super fruits?
Mhm.
So that one tastes, I think, to be the best. but I think they all work pretty well. And I've also tried the chocolate bites, and those are honestly really, really yummy. And I think you're only supposed to like eat 1 or 2 a day, but like honestly, they would make a really great snack if they made like a more snackable version of those, because they're just really yummy.
Yummy. Goli Ashwa Gummies with full spectrum KSM 66 ashwagandha. The ancient Indian herb ashwagandha has been recognized for its medicinal properties for over 5,000 years. It's rooted in Ayurveda. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. A holistic and traditional system of medicine based on the concept that health and wellness depend on the balance between physical and mental health by utilizing natural medicine. Ashwagandha is also an adaptogen, which is not a robot that the Avengers fight. Only it's also a plant that helps the body maintain balance and adapt to stress. Adaptogen.
Here's the best part. If you go to Goli.com and use the code Hard NOC, that's HARDNOC, you will get 10% off your order plus free shipping on any Goli products at Goli.com. You can also go to go.goli.com/hardknock. The code will already be there for you. You'll get your discount and you get your free shipping. So please go to Goli.com, use the code Hard NOC, HARDNOC. Get your first set of Goli gummies, whether the apple cider vinegar, the ashwagandha, super fruits, or the super veggies, or hell, all of them, plus the chocolate bites, with 10% off and free shipping using the code Hard NOC, HARDNOC. All right, we're back. So before we get into
the Super Bowl commercial,
before we get to, one real quick, I gotta say that halftime show, holy fuck!
Oh, that was so cool.
That was like I'll put it all on the table. I was a little skeptical. I was like, all right, Dre, can Dre still bring it? I know Snoop can still bring it, but can Dre still bring it? And Dre brought it. Eminem, they brought out 50. No one knew 50 was going to be there. Anderson .Paak on the drums.
It was so funny. The whole time he was drumming, I was like, that guy looks like Anderson. I kept saying it. I was like, that guy looks like Anderson.
Well, when he came out, I was like, wait,
on his drum.
Yeah.
It was like, actually written there. Right?
Yeah, it was written there. I thought we might get a little Silk Sonic. I was like, wait, is Bruno coming out too? But no, it was.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was surprised. I really thought we were going to get the Tupac hologram.
Oh,
yeah, I kind of glad that they didn't do that.
I'm glad they didn't, but like when Dre sat down on the piano, started playing "I Ain't Mad at You," I was like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're bringing out the Tupac hologram, and they didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed like a really nice moment for Los Angeles. There.
Well, yeah,
I'm saying as someone who lived there for a while, not to.
I mean, you guys got the. It was definitely a LA centric, California love.
Even though Eminem is not.
Even though he's from Michigan.
I love Eminem though. I think he's cute, and I was just very excited. And he did my favorite the song with Dre. Nowadays, everyone's talking. That's what I'm saying when it comes out.
Forgot about Dre.
That's the motherfucker.
Well, I mean, just the flow, right? Starting you know with Dre and Snoop, and then into 50, and then Eminem and Mary J. I will say, like, Mary J, that era of Mary J is not my favorite. I'm still partial to the 411 era of Mary J, just because I'm old. So I prefer,
but you got
like,
to see her rehearsing Real Love in the
right, exactly. That's why I thought, are we getting Real Love and what's the 411? But no, we got Family Affair and No More Drama, Mary, which is fine. But then they brought Eminem out. Awesome. The whole thing was great. Kendrick was fucking fantastic. Like, that's how you know it's for the old people, when Kendrick was the youngest person out there. You know?
That's the thing I don't really get, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Kendrick Lamar associated with the
Dre? He's definitely with Dre.
So
yeah, he's a Dre guy. Kendrick Lamar is straight up a Dre guy.
But he's also like the youngest
right,
one in
right.
There,
right? Like the most recent. He's not of the G Thang Chronic era for sure.
Right. I mean, yeah, okay.
Well, so the reason I brought up Tupac, and again, they played I Ain't Mad at You, so I really thought we were getting the ghost of Tupac. But, you know, as you all know, Tupac's final album was called The Don Illuminati, The 7 Day Theory. And I thought that was quite apt. That's a classic album. That's the one with, what's the song? Shit, never mind.
I didn't tap.
What's the one that Come With Me? Shit, what's that song called?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Keith making his list. I'm trying to
Not,
remember
not the
a
dear
Tupac
mama,
song,
not dear
Faith.
mama. Anyway, whatever. You stepped on my segue
Sorry.
because the album is called The Don Illuminati, which is a reference, of course, to the Illuminati, which, holy shit, there is a Marvel multiversal Illuminati in the MCU because
Yes.
Doctor Strange gets arrested by Baron Mordo and is brought to like some elaborate courthouse by a bunch of like Tony Stark Ultron bots.
Mhm.
And we see a council that he's talking to. And lo and behold, we hear the voice of Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Wait, can I just say the disclaimer really quick for context?
Oh, spoilers.
Illuminati. No, Illuminati means a lot of different things to a lot of different.
Well, sure,
people.
right.
Let's not get it twisted. We're talking in Marvel Comics. There's this group called the Illuminati.
Yeah.
We're
But
not
I'm
talking
using
about
the using the Tupac
and,
segue.
and there's the Tupac album.
I'm
Those
using
are-
the Tupac segue.
There are other Illuminatis, which
Yeah,
obviously mean
right.
a lot of different things to different people.
I just needed the segue.
It was a good segue.
Yeah.
To Illuminatis, which are totally approved by me. And again, yeah. So in the Marvel context, it's like the bunch of the most powerful people on Earth.
So the comics
Like,
Illuminati
like
is
they're
Xavier.
They do kind of,
Right.
you know, talk about how shit.
The comics Illuminati, to my knowledge, it's Xavier, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, Namor,
Yeah, because
And
Atlantis.
someone else. Is it Black Panther?
I believe Black Panther and Black Bolt are both in there.
Black
The
Bolt,
Living
yeah,
Kingdom of
Black Bolt.
Wakanda and
So the
and Inhumans. But
the question is, who do you think sits on the MCU Illuminati Council? Because we know for damn sure Patrick Stewart's Professor X is there.
Deadpool.
Would be funny as shit if like they're trolling us
Deadpool
and
should be
Patrick
part of
Stewart was
that.
cast,
Right.
but he's playing somebody else.
That's what someone had already tweeted. They better not be pulling a Ralph Boner on us.
Maybe he's playing Ralph Boner. So who do you suspect? I mean, there's already speculation that a version of Tony Stark is on the council because we
I
see the
think
Ultron
it's,
bots.
I think, and I do think that maybe the theory. I know some people were trying to shut it down that Tom Cruise is playing.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but I think it's kind of it could be real because someone did a shot of
They freeze framed the
and
Iron
I was
Man.
like, that could be.
It does look like Tom Cruise. Well, remember
Yeah.
when you and I talked about a couple weeks ago that the rumor came out Tom Cruise is in Doctor Strange. You're like, why? Why is Tom Cruise was never officially cast as Iron Man. He was like a fan cast in Wizard magazine in the 90s. Like that's not going to mean anything to anybody. But now I don't know.
It looks like it could be real. I don't know. So yeah,
it's a certain. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
Dominic.
gonna say, looking at the picture of like the screenshot,
It looks like
I was like,
it
I'm
looks
like,
like that.
yeah, that
It
could
does.
be him.
I know.
It makes a
So-
certain sense because for a lot of people, non-Marvel diehards, the Marvel universe is Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr. We remember he was a big star
Mhm.
leading the way. So there's probably some faction of the Marvel camp that's thinking, yeah, we have plans for the next phases, but we want that huge star being Iron Man thing that people will remember. And so to me, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, it
looks
tracks.
weird.
It tracks that you could have. I mean, and what it does open up is the possibilities of any kind of recasting, right? So you could have an
And that
Iron
Captain
Man.
Marvel looks like it's Maria Rambeau and not Monica or Carol Danvers. I don't know if anyone has noticed
Oh,
that.
you saw Captain Marvel in the trailer?
Fighting Wanda.
Oh, was that Captain? I thought that was the shiny Iron Man.
No,
That-
there's two different shots.
There's
There's an
definitely a
Iron Man
shiny
one,
person.
and then there's one that looks like it's like more of the Captain Marvel, and I
Oh,
think it's
interesting.
flying real
Maria
fast,
Rambeau.
shooting some
Yeah,
laser
yeah.
rays.
Yeah.
It's pretty fast. It could be a lot of people. But
So
it has
do you
Captain
think?
Marvel vibes?
Do you think? But this. So I was saying this opens up the possibility now because like one of the things, of
Mhm.
course, the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman. They've said full on they're not going to recast T'Challa, and to some consternation because there are some fans that say that's not fair. You can't rob us of Black Panther just because the actor's gone. We've recast characters before. We can't just have no T'Challa. And this is a way to kind of work around that. You're not recasting the MCU T'Challa, but you could conceivably bringing in a T'Challa that's still T'Challa that could be Black Panther. without having to recast Chadwick. But what do we think of that? Do you think this sets that up? Is there? I mean, assuming Black Panther's on the Illuminati, because we don't know who else is on it.
That's not the
Iron
place
Man.
really to debut it, though. In context, that's not the place to do it. It's already dropping a lot of weird shit at once.
Unless it's Killmonger.
I mean, that would be a huge weird surprise, but they shouldn't just like drop that in the middle of a Doctor Strange movie. You know what I'm saying?
It could be Killmonger, because we also know just to set the table some more, there was the full trailer that was released online. But if you watch the Super Bowl,
full trailer.
But if you watch the Super Bowl, there was a 1 minute Super Bowl version of the trailer that played during the game, which was actually different footage from the full trailer that we got on the internet. And in that footage, we saw Zombie Wanda and Zombie Strange. Zombie Strange was in both, but we got Zombie Wanda, which confirms that What If is not only canon, it's going to be in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
because there was already like nods to like the Strange with
the shot tentacles. Where we don't where the Watcher is looking at the glass and he like kind of goes back, and they put Wanda on the other side. And so I don't know if they're thinking Wanda's gonna be the person actually that he's reacting to, but I thought he was reacting to Ultron.
I think it was kind of like a mashup, but we definitely get Zombie Wanda, so we know that there's going to be some of the Marvel zombie world showing up in Doctor Strange, which again canonized. It's so wild that we all watched it
falling out of like a more like a animated looking world. So I don't know if you've noticed that
in the trailer.
Yes, there's a shot where it looks like he's falling out of an animated world. So some people are thinking that it's the X-Men 97 universe. And then other people think it just might be just like the regular comic universe, but
I didn't catch that. So with all of it together though, with the actual Super Bowl commercial plus the trailer, a whole we knew this was going to be a multiversal movie. We knew it was going to be, opening up like just the entire world, but did you think we would get the X-Men this soon?
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, okay.
There was already one, because there was rumors that there's gonna be a huge fight between Wanda and Magneto, and I've heard it's Ian McKellen. Yes, and I've heard it's Ian McKellen and Magneto, but I don't know how true that is. And then also it just seems like the perfect opportunity to reboot the stuff that they want from the X-Men universe, and we'll bring because we know that we are getting Ryan Reynolds back as Deadpool. That we know. So that's also a good opportunity to bring in Ryan Reynolds. And apparently he posted a picture and then he deleted it the other day. So I think he's coming back sooner than we think.
Do you think he'll have a cameo in Multiverse of Madness?
Oh yeah, he has to.
That's pretty delightful.
And I feel like I feel like Sam Raimi would like to work with Ryan Reynolds, especially all like that Ash versus Evil Dead stuff he kind of does. I feel like Ryan Reynolds fits in that realm of like stuff that Sam Raimi's done, so I can see Ryan Reynolds popping up.
I'm not totally sold on this whole X-Men thing, but I think it is a good way to do it if he meets the Illuminati and there's Professor X there, because that's a good way to sort of soft enter the world of the X-Men. I don't believe they're gonna like come out with a whole team of like mutants or show any of that shit, but you can introduce a guy who's a psychic, superpowered mutant and have him be part of the universe and kind of start opening up that realm. So I don't totally believe the Magneto thing, but I'll be happy to be proved wrong.
I don't want to come off ageist because I love Sir Patrick, but we never talked about it on the show, but they recently dropped the Picard season 2 trailer a couple weeks ago. And, I wasn't the biggest fan of this first season of Picard, to be completely transparent, but just Sir Patrick looks like he's not fully there anymore, right? Like he just seems like he's aged out of the role of Picard. And again, I love the fact that we hear Sir Patrick's voice and we know that Professor X is in the movie, but like, are we worried that we're setting ourselves up for disappointment?
He's the older version of himself. I think he's still got the voice, and his stately air will be good for a Professor X type character. I'd say forever. I'm way into the Patrick Stewart thing.
Yeah, no, I
don't
love
think-
it.
I
I
don't
love
think so
Patrick
much with Picard jumping around on starships. I don't think that plays so much.
Yeah, I also feel bad for the Picard trailer dropping the same week like Whoopi Goldberg got in trouble because like the whole thing of the Picard trailer is the Guinan reveal, and it's like,
Oh gosh,
unfortunate timing there.
we've been slacking a little bit on our Star Trek references recently.
Yeah, we should get. I
I'll
mean, there's a
catch
lot.
up on the
It's
Discovery.
Yeah,
But
I'm-
that's
I'm-
okay.
I've not been so caught up on like new Star Trek. That's part of it. Like I haven't watched any of the Paramount Plus stuff. So other than Picard was the only thing I watched, and you and I have talked about it on the podcast, and I didn't love
I'm
it. So.
sorry. I'm a
But
Star
anyway,
Wars. When it comes to
that's-
having
that's
to
fine.
choose sides, I am a Star Wars person.
So in the New York Times article, in the New York Times crossword, you're
Mhm.
definitely Star Wars, not Star Trek. Did you guys see that this week? The New York Times
Yes,
Sunday
that was
crossword puzzle.
Very good bit of crossword.
That was actually going to be my nerd popping, but I don't think we have time
Okay.
for nerd popping because we got so much to talk about. But it was
Well,
basically
yeah.
it was basically like the clue was what is the best Star sci-fi franchise, and the
Star
answer
Wars.
could have been Star Wars or Star Trek, and it worked either way, and that was really
And they
clever.
did clever clues that fit both the
Both,
letters.
yeah.
That's pretty great.
What
But yeah, we can
my
have that.
favorite part though is that if you said it was Star Trek, then you had to use the clue. It's a trap. So like
That's ironical.
ironical, very much ironical, very very Alanis there. Anyway,
yeah. So Picard is on the Illuminati or something like that. I'm
what if it's Picard? What if it's not Professor X?
I'm saying it wrong.
No, I like that idea. I like the idea that it's Jean-Luc Picard on the Illuminati. But I want to go back to speculating who else is sitting on that table because, like, already people are thinking Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Are we going to see our
Bill
first
Walker.
look at Mr. Fantastic sitting on?
Yeah, and someone had a good theory. I don't remember who tweeted it. So if you listen to this podcast, I'm sorry, I'm not crediting you, but let us know who you are. They tweeted that they think that it would be very interesting if Jonathan Majors is actually playing Reed Richards as well as being a Kang variant.
Oh yeah,
that could work.
works.
That
Yeah.
could work.
Very
Or
well.
Kang himself could
Reed
be on the
Richards.
council.
Yeah,
You could have a Kang there. A Kang, maybe not the
Yeah.
Kang.
I'm very curious to what was the huge plot change that they had to go and do extensive reshoots for this movie, because that's why it was pushed back severely. So I'm wondering what's going on, because this was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So that's why
Right.
I'm like,
And
what's the plot
Spider-Man
change?
has totally opened the door in the multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, it
characters
kind of
returning
still
stuff.
worked either way.
So,
So yeah.
You could also envision a world where the Mr. Fantastic sitting on the Illuminati is the Ian Griffith Mr. Fantastic.
I love him.
But again, like just acknowledging that they have because that X-Men world and that Fantastic Four world never crossed over. So they were essentially different universes. So the point could be there's a person from each universe. So you have like someone representing the Fantastic Four world,
Wait, do
someone
you
representing.
think we could get Chris Evans back as Johnny
Well, that's what I was gonna
Storm?
say. Like, I bet you could do a joke where Ian Griffith, Mr. Fantastic, is like, I still think it's hilarious that your Captain America is my, Johnny Storm. But that also like opens up because I think there's going to be a version of Doctor Strange on the council because we got to see. First of all, we got to see like 4 or 5 different versions of Doctor Strange in the trailer.
Mhm.
But one of them, I think, is it the Superior Strange, or there's a version of Doctor Strange who's like really good, like a selfless, heroic Doctor Strange with the white costume, the white and red costume.
Yeah.
You see him for a
right.
flash.
Isn't there the what if one too?
Yeah, and there's like and then there's like an evil Strange, and there's a zombie Strange. I'm thinking one of those Stranges, perhaps like the superior. I think it's Superior Strange. I don't remember, but I think he's sitting on the council too, and someone with a sword. That could be Mordo. I don't know. I'm very excited for Doctor. And I
I don't think they'll have
would.
Black Bolt. I'll say that.
No Black. He's too busy flying the Enterprise right now. Speaking of Star Trek. Yeah. Any final thoughts on the Super Bowl trailer?
I'm really excited, and I really like that. Maybe we'll see Wanda as like a really embracing being a villain.
Well, and I also think we're going to get
As a
multiple
villain.
Wandas. It looks like we
Yes.
have a lot of Wandas too.
Yeah.
It does set up a really interesting conflict. Just teases it in that trailer. They say there's Wanda commenting
I
on
think-
her own fall from grace and whether
I
she'll
do
be
think that scene. I'm sorry to talk over you. I think that
Yeah,
scene
no,
though with
it's important.
her in the orchard or whatever,
Mhm.
and he's asking her about the multiverse. I think she's already messed up reality, and that's not actually. He's like walking into a trap.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I think so.
But again, part of the thing is they have both messed up reality.
Mhm.
It's like they're both running wild with their magics, and does that mean and someone ends up being the villain or what?
Which
Anyway,
is
I
the
think
point that Wanda makes, right?
Yeah.
When I do it, I'm a villain, but when you do it, it's okay. That's not fair.
And I consider Wanda a villain in WandaVision, but I also think that Doctor Strange should have equal accountability because he fucks shit up too. So that Spider-Man can go to college. What the hell? That guy's in a loose cannon. Anyway,
He has too much power, that's for sure. And Wong's got to clean his shit up as per usual.
does anyone remember playing as Shuma Gorath in one of those Capcom versus Marvel video games? The big slimy starfish thing. That's a Marvel monster character too. Like I think his name's Shuma Gorath.
Oh, that shows up in
Oh.
the trailer.
Yeah, isn't that the same
the
beast from the
tentacled
What If?
monster.
That's the same beast from What If.
Was he in What If?
That
Mhm.
Captain Carter and someone also claimed they saw Captain Carter in the trailer.
Shield.
Hmm.
No,
But-
they saw her shield.
Oh, yeah, I just saw something about I haven't done the deep dive. I've
I-
watched the trailer a few times, but I
I've
haven't done the
been-
freeze frame.
I've
But-
been amongst them.
But that tentacle creature is like all throughout What If, and it looks
Yeah.
like it's the same creature from the whatever the word you just said, Dominic. It does look to be the same creature. So who knew? But to Brittany's point from earlier, it's a hell of a year to be a fan because we're getting
yeah.
Multiverse of Madness, we're getting all the DC movies we talked about earlier.
And I don't know if I'm the only person who thinks this, but I think the Power of the Rings actually looks pretty decent.
Oh, that was
So,
the other
you know,
thing. Yeah,
If you're a Lord of the Rings fan too, I feel like we're in a good place this year.
yeah,
And
and
comes out on my birthday, by the way, May 25th. Whoop,
right,
whoop.
Jesus Christ, that dropped this week too. That we know when Kenobi's. It's coming out on the 45th anniversary of Star Wars
And my birthday.
and your
Mm.
birthday. That's why you're such a Star Wars fan.
That's
Yeah,
very
we were
poetic.
soulmates. We're meant
Yeah,
to be.
and you get to see your boy Hayden again.
I know on my birthday, I'm like, happy birthday to me, Star Wars. Thank
His
you.
name's Oh, you said
Speaking
Hayden. I
of,
thought you
they
said
do
your
have
boy
a-
Hayden.
Which I'm
things.
gonna pre-order when I get paid on Friday, which I can't believe I'm buying another book. But it's called Brotherhood, and it's gonna be with Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ian and Hayden are on the cover of the book, and I'm very excited to pre-order that this Friday because it comes out in May.
That's cool. I'm actually here for the reclamation of the prequels, right? Because
Me too, because I loved Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and I used to get made fun of all the time when I.
but even on Mandalorian, or I guess Boba Fett, right? Like he's flying around in an Naboo starfighter. When I remember a couple weeks ago, he was like, "How'd you like it?" He's like, "Wizards." Like it's just kind of
was a
neat that
funny
they're
cool
reclaiming
moment.
the prequels as valid, and I'm glad we've moved beyond just shitting on it for shitting on its sake. So.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's a very packed edition of Hard Knock Life. Just so much happened. We'll have to slow down next week. Hopefully, not too many things are revealed in the next 7 days. But until then, Brittany Monet, how can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hi Brittany Monet, and then you can check out at Naomi Podcast for the Naomi Podcast, the backlog of the Black Lightning Podcast, and also the Lituation Room, all on the same feed.
Nice, Dominic.
Yeah.
I'm Dominic Ma at Dama DOMMAH on Instagram or Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at the Real Chow, _real_Chow, and on Instagram at Real Keith Chow. Follow us at the Nerds of Color on every platform, and go to hardknockmedia.com to find this and all the podcasts in the Hard Knock family. Give us a rating and review if you do, especially on Apple Podcasts, so people can help find the podcast. Go to patreon.com/the Nerds of Color to throw us some support that way. Shout out to Adam WarRock and Chops for the theme music. And go to youtube.com/the Nerds of Color for our videos. And until next time,
Crescent darts, okay? Can we?
moonarangs.
Crescent darts.
Moonarangs.
Moon pies.
All love.
It is all love. It's all moon love.
I still think it should have come out in October so it could coincide with the Moon Festival, but whatever.
But not the chick kind, more like the people in